While in the classroom, the class clown saw the most popular cheerleader trying to put on her panties. Just then, the teacher called her to take her test. Afraid that her underwear would fall down in front of everyone, the class clown decided to take the test for her. However, as he was giving her the test back, the teacher startled him. This caused his leg to accidentally brush against the cheerleader, leading to an embarrassing and public climax. Shirota was a disgusting loner who had no friends or girlfriend, except for his right hand, until he accidentally saw the school's most popular girl's Melons. She eventually made him her slave, and clapped him harder than the meteor clapped the dinosaurs.
Lord have mercy. We must stay focused, brothers. We must stay focused.
Before all this, Shirota hides away in the sports equipment room to bust a fat one to Setagaya. But just as he's about to turn the place into a white paint explosion, the most popular girl, Takamine, walks in. In his mind, Takamine is the pharaoh queen of the school, excellent at everything, unlike an ugly, disgusting loser like himself that nobody even knows exists. They went to the same middle school, but she always ignored him like a piece of trash and hung out with the popular kids instead. He wonders what she's doing in a place like this until she begins to strip, explaining the reason his dumbass brain was struggling to figure out. This virgin simp tries not to peek, thinking only degenerate scums like you guys who aren't subscribing and liking would peek at a girl changing. But Satan gets in his head like Eve, and before he knows it, he's looking at Takamine's bare melons, making his face turn red like Itachi's Sharingan. But the real question is, why would a popular girl forget her bra? He tries to find an answer. Later in class, Shirota can't stop thinking about Takamine's, quote, weapons of destruction, completely ignoring the lesson. The teacher calls him a dumbass before handing him his test results. When Shirota sees the 54 he received, he burns with happiness because it's the highest score he's ever gotten. Then it's Takamine's turn. Instead of her usual 100%, she scores a 97, making the class erupt. Some students joke, her perfect 100 score is over, just like what your ex told you. Suddenly, Takamine starts pulling down her top, making Shirota's simp brain explode as he drools over how soft and tasty her rice cakes look.
Lord have mercy. We must stay focused, brothers. We must stay focused.
Before he can pull out his camera to record his new Giz material, he hears the teacher calling his name. And just like that, Takamine and her rice cakes vanish.
Stop it. Get some help.
Confused as hell, he wonders what the F is going on. He assumes it was a dream, but when he collects his test result and sees that same 54, he dismisses the dream theory. However, this time Takamine scores a 100 instead of a 98. Nearly having a heart attack, he starts questioning everything. While walking, Shirota refuses to believe the memory of Takamine was just some deja vu. It looked way too real. Determined to get answers, he visits Takamine, who turns out to be the school president. Shirota is stunned that this literal goddess even knows his name. He tells her about witnessing her score a 98, and she asks if he told anyone, walking toward him like a rogue cyborg. She performs the famous wall slam, and remarks that he saw her melons while the geek mutters, "Yes, no, yes, no." Instead of beating the she out of him, she decides to have a constructive conversation and offers him some mineral water. He stutters, thinking he'd rather have her milk than some dumb water. But being the clumsy dimwit he is, he spills it, almost soaking Takamine. She calls him a dummy but reminds him she promised not to fight. Just then, she starts unbuttoning her shirt, except reality changes, and now the water spills on him instead.
Sorry.
As Shirota prepares to bolt, she stops him, calling him back to wipe her down before she catches a cold, starting with her melons. This douchebag hesitates despite having an opportunity millions would kill for. She then asks if he notices anything else different aside from her being drenched. Since his brain functions like office Wi-Fi, she grabs his hands and slaps them onto her melons, revealing she's not wearing a bra. After destroying his baby-making factory for being so dumb, she explains her ability to change reality by taking off her underwear. However, her underwear disappears after the magic trick, and the only reason he remembers the previous timeline is because he saw her melons. Now for the final answer. Why does she have this ability? It's because she's meant to be number one. She excels in sports and academics and has a body so perfect it would make every male on Earth gift her $50 million on OnlyFans. She suggests it must be hard for him to understand her perfection when 95% of his own life is a mistake, words that hit Shirota hard, considering he's the biggest mistake God ever created. Takamine explains that she didn't always have this ability. It started in middle school when she lost a race after eating a spoiled bento. The loss made her so angry that she stripped naked like a madwoman, and reality changed, making her the winner. Still, this half-brained monkey refuses to understand, thinking Takamine isn't just weird, but someone to be avoided, failing to realize the once-in-a-lifetime opportunity a virgin loser like him has stumbled upon.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
She points out that every time she uses her abilities, her underwear disappears, so she's constantly changing into new ones. There's always a risk of someone seeing her, just like he did. As punishment, she demands that he become her closet, always bringing her spare underwear, following her everywhere, and helping her change whenever necessary. Shirota, on the other hand, refuses to be her slave, saying there's no benefit for him. But Takamine shows him that he will benefit in ways his worthless ass never could have otherwise. It seems like Shirota's about to fold, but instead he tells her goodbye, rejecting her slave contract.
Leave me alone!
However, she blocks his path, and the two end up flipping over into an awkward position. She grabs his hands and plants them on her melons, saying she should have done this from the start. Shirota thinks he's finally about to get his reward, only for it to turn into 10 guys ready to beat the shit out of him. As Takamine frames him for forcing plot development onto her, the loser finally realizes all this happened because he refused to be her slave, all while the police drag his worthless scumbag ass away to rot in prison. He realizes his only way out is for Takamine to reset reality. He begs for help, but she makes him swear to be her closet like a loyal dog first. Afterward, when everything returns to normal, Takamine officially changes his name to Closet-kun. Shirota fears what the future holds, wishing he could turn back time to before he saw her mammy milkers. For his first job, Takamine orders him to help her put on panties since the last pair disappeared.
Light work, no reaction. Light work, no reaction.
Shirota reminds her that she was the one who framed him, but Takamine asks if that's any way for a peasant to talk to their master. He thinks about refusing, but when she reminds him of his new life purpose, he slowly does what any of us would, but with his eyes closed. Takamine notices and asks him about it, to which the punk replies that he's a man of God.
You need to leave!
Even though all he does is goon to those websites, Shirota tries to breathe a sigh of relief, but then Takamine orders him to put on her bra next. She wants to see if he'll spend all evening struggling or if he'll just open his damn eyes and get on with it.
Ooh. Okay, it's got a little kick. Ooh.
The next day, Shirota wakes from a nightmare where he was enjoying his hands between Takamine's melons right as she calls the cops on him. Looking at his phone, he discovers she messaged him not to be late for school, including a thirst trap pic to energize him for the morning. While walking to school, Shirota wonders what he'll do on his first day as Takamine's closet, still in disbelief that an ugly loser like him and the most popular girl are in a quote-quote fan service entanglement. Just then, Takamine sneaks up behind him, whispering in his ear, while some ugly simp losers burn with jealousy, because the most popular girl just talked to one of their brothers. Shirota meets Takamine in her office, too distracted by her smooth legs to realize she's greeting him. The ugly douchebag snaps out of it when she mentions their partnership. He is the closet, and she is the owner. She gives him a bag containing underwear, apologizing that they are clean. This loser asks why she'd even apologize for them being clean, as if he doesn't know he'd sniff them if they weren't. She tells him to have the bag of fresh underwear on him at every moment, ready to put them on her immediately whenever she uses her powers, even in class. Shirota disagrees with peeping up a girl's heaven of chambers during class, asking if she can't wait until lunch. But Takamine points out that if she waits until break, she can only use her power once. To use her powers repeatedly, she must constantly change. She then shows the nerd a peek at the pair she's wearing now. Instead of begging to see more, he yells at her to stop.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
She threatens to replay the timeline where the cops threw him in jail to rot with R. Kelly if he doesn't comply. She then kicks him off his feet and sits on little Johnny, informing him that if he does a good job, she'll reward him with a VIP entrance to her wonderland. She hopes he doesn't screw up, because the thought of making plot with another dude feels disgusting, but it feels fun with him. Later in class, Shirota glances at Takamine, remembering her command to change her during class, but he doesn't know when she'll use her powers. The teacher calls on her to read a poem, amazing the students with her sweet voice. Meanwhile, Shirota thinks about how intelligent she is, doubting she needs to use her powers that much. His hopes shatter when Takamine suddenly signals him to get ready. When she ditches her current pair, time resets just as the teacher calls on her to read again. But this time, Takamine stutters. Meanwhile, Shirota finds himself surrounded by simps in ancient Japan, worshipping Takamine. In reality, Shirota looks around wondering what the F is going on. He realizes Takamine used her abilities to adjust time just to catch the wind, while she gives him a, quote, dominant stare. Having the brain of an 80-year-old, Shirota forgets that because she used her ability, her panties disappeared and he should be putting new ones on her. She hits him in the head with a paper ball, signaling him to do his job. With the class so crowded, Shirota hesitates, too dumb to realize he could just lie about leaving a textbook to get closer to her. Since all his ideas are garbage, Takamine uses her eraser as a decoy. He goes to retrieve the eraser and slowly slides her new panties up her leg while his heart beats like yours when your crush rests her hand on your leg. When he finishes, the fact that nobody saw him gets him excited. To his shock, he didn't put them on properly, and Takamine was trying to signal him all along. The teacher calls Takamine to get her results, and Shirota panics, thinking they will slide down. He steps into her space instead. Since he's seated next to her, the teacher gives him her results to deliver. With a blushing face, he hands her the paper, but she wraps her foot around his, saying he can't leave until he fixes her properly. Shirota begins to scramble until he finally uses his brain and uses his foot to slide the panties further up the tunnel. While doing that, a call from the teacher makes him accidentally wake the kitty, making Takamine climax on the spot. Later, Shirota calls her unbelievable, but she confirms that today was just a test of his potential. She suggests he saved her because he doesn't want anyone else seeing her underwear. Even though he denies it, his actions make her want to milk him right then and there. Thank you for watching, guys. If you love animation movies, please subscribe to this channel and keep watching. Bye!